Official agenda reads prayer, consideration of the 2020 and 2021 annual activity reports and audited financial statements of National Nutrition Agency, NaNA, and any other business. Can any honorable member move that we adopt the agenda as it is? Seconder? It has been moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda as it is. Those in favor, please say aye. And those not in favor, please say no. On that note, the agenda stands adopted. You can proceed with the second item that has to do with the consideration of the 2020-21 annual activity reports and audited financial statement of NaNA. Honorable members, yesterday we had a presentation of 2020 and 2021 activity and financial statement reports from NaNA, and they are scheduled for consideration. For the Gambia procurement compliance report, we have from 2017 to 2019 that was also presented, also to be considered. We start with the finances, and by that, first, let's look into the analysis of the subject matter specialists for the finances. Then from there, we get to the ML for both 2020 and 2021. Then after the ML, we can have the GPA compliance, and finally, the activity report. We try to do our best to manage the time. Let me invite Honorable Sani to guide us in the analysis submitted by the subject matter specialist.
Thank you, and then welcome back for another marathon day. So we will start with the 2020 financials.
You are telling them it's going to be a marathon day?
It depends on the answers. Maybe it's going to be a relay. So let's start with the 2020 financial statement. And then we're looking at first the closing cash balance at December 2020. This is on page 10. And then if you look at it, closing and opening cash balance for 2019 and then 2020 in the statement of receipt, and the payments appear to be maybe errors, like page 15, notes 13 and 14 gave wrong amounts for the calculation of balance before from 2019 and closing balance of 2020. Yes, for page 15, that is notes 13 and 14. Yeah. Exactly. Yes, the reversal. 216. Not 13, yes. It's 216,820 paid to GRA 2019 in receipt of income tax. So that have been made a reversal entry in the cash book rather than being deducted from the resulting cash balance. Yes. Look.
Yeah. So what we were doing, actually, we did a journal entry. But at the beginning of the financial statement, initially we do the entry in the cash book. So, usually when you have an issue with the auditors in terms of the treatment of certain items, this was initially put, we even brought it in as a reversal and said, okay, let it come as an inflow under the receipt, because it was expense in the previous years and it has been going. So we have been following, we write series of letters to GRA to said, we remit this money into your account. Unfortunately, our account was never credited, debited rather. We asked if their account was credited, but we couldn't get any information, and we have been going year in, year out. So at this period, the auditor said no. So if you check the 2018, 2019, you'll still see the same item have been going on. So when we said, let's do the reversal, we do the journal entry and bring it here. They said no, 2019 was already audited, and this item was still outstanding. In 2020, it is better to bring it as part of the balances rather than bringing it in the receipt side, because that will also alter the presentation of the financial statement. So if the item is not substantial, you don't alter the presentation of the financial statement. That's why we brought the GRA receipt at that place. So this is a matter of adjusting the balances rather than, yeah.
Supplementary question?
Yes. The issue is resolved now.
Yeah, the issue is resolved now.
So GRA, did they receive the funds?
The funds to the account. Yes, they received the funds. They received the funds.
Was it during the same period?
No, it's not during the same period. It is not during the same period. We ensure that all our statutory obligations are paid. So if we have a liability, because we are doing cash basis IPSAS, we don't prepare the, of course, we don't get accruals or prepayments in terms of accrual accounting, but we disclose our liability. So this was a liability. If you see the subsequent years, you will not find it there.
Yeah, I think he explained it very well. That is exactly.
Thank you. Yeah, let's move to the second one. That's receipt safety net project contributions, and this is on page 10 again.
Receipt?
Net project contributions on page 10. Then note 3 on page 12.
On social safety net project contribution.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So on page 12, give the breakdown of the social
Net contribution.
yes,
Yes.
social safety net project contribution for allowance paid in July
Yes.
to December 2020, amounting to 6 million. Is it 6,947,000?
Yes.
$6.
Yes.
So the actual allowances paid to staff retained by NaNA through SSP and NP project as indicated in note 11, page 14. Total to $6,923,306, resulting in a difference of $23,700, which needs to be explained. If you look at the calculation, there's a difference of 23,700.
Yeah, this, okay, during the audit, this was fully explained. I may not recall the exact details, but the difference is about 23,000. That was as a result of, like, some staff is related to GRA and Social Security, right? Yes, sometimes it relates to GRA and Social Security. So if you see what came in from the contribution from Social Safety Net Project, what was paid out is 6,923,000, but what we received is 6,947,000. So there was a difference about 23,000 that was never disbursed to the staff. There was a staff who actually left, and the contribution came in the account. Yeah, so that contribution could not have been paid to any other staff. So it stays in the book. And if you look at the Social Safety Net Project, what it is doing is budget support to NaNA. We actually support allowances to staff and other expenditures that carried out by the agency. So this specific one as an inflow, a staff was supposed to be paid about this $23,000. Some staff were laid off because the project finished. So there was no way you can disburse this amount. So the inflow and the expenses will not be exactly the same. So if you do your analysis, you'll find out that the 23,000 was still sitting in the account, and there is no way you can use it.
Why was it not paid to the
No,
staff?
when the staff leave, the staff left, so there is no way, the money have to stay in there.
Okay, he left on
He
ceremonial.
left- No, not unceremoniously.
Okay.
Not unceremoniously. The staff left. Yes.
Audit?
Honorable Chair, I can vividly remember the interaction that we had as far as this particular point is concerned. To the extent that we had to require them to bring us evidence of a statement, their bank statement, to see whether this is still sitting in their account at the time or not. And I can confirm that was the case.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Mbo.
Okay, what's the situation now? What happened with the 23,700?
So, any inflow you have as an agency, if you put monies in one account, that account is considered to be the operational account for the agency.
Yeah.
We are a subvented institution.
Yes, I know. But
So if you have monies in the account, if you do your analysis from 2020 up to date, the expenses and the income will always be matching. So you cannot dip your hand and pull out the 23,000, whether it's expended or not on something, which is, of course, yes. But it didn't specifically come in as payment of that particular staff. It came in as a budget support to the agency. So when we have a pot as an institution, we have a pot where we put our funds. If we are expending, we expend from that pot. So you will not see any direct expense relating to that 23,000.
yeah, but the support is going to be based on the some financial transaction that you actually submit, and the amount is actually exact support for what you are looking for.
No, the support is not like that. The support is actually in the financing agreement of the GSSNP.
I know, yeah.
It said there is an element of management fee paid to the agency as a budget support.
I understand.
And that budget support does not specify which specific line item should you support. It didn't say that.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the amount itself, the budget support amount itself.
Yes.
It's the amount itself that you request.
Yes.
Based on the agreement you have.
No, we don't request. So the budget support, like I said, the budget support is not specifically coming as a specific amount to any or from anywhere. If you understanding the source of finance is coming from a project. So if we are implementing a project and we do a withdrawal application, we do an expenditure of, let's say, 1 million. 80,000 will be paid to the agency as management fee.
Yes.
And that 80,000 will support various expenditures by agency because we'll prepare and that budget will be supported.
Okay.
So as part of those expenditure, one item will be salary. So if you have staff salary and now you are considering that particular period, most of the budget support, I would say almost was all going to staff salary.
Okay.
So if you have an inflow of 9 million, 6,947,000.
Yeah.
You spend 6,923,000. The 23,000 will still be sitting in your books, and it can be expended on any item.
Something else.
It's
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah,
It doesn't. Yes. Or anything. Yes. Yes.
We proceed to the next.
13.
The page 13, this is about vehicle maintenance. And we found that there were a number of vehicles that were transferred to the agency. And why the maintenance charges were very high in the month of March 2020. You look at the figure about 353,896. And May 2020, it was 187,951. Under June 2020, 217,894. So look at that gap between.
So huge.
Why it was so high.
Yes, the explanation for this is NaNA being one of those institutions that have been implementing bank-funded, World Bank-funded projects with other partners. In 2019, we were implementing the NCNHRP, Maternal and Child Nutrition and Health Results Project. The financing mechanism for that project was the project will directly support operational expenses of the agency. And in that support, you will not have the expenses coming into the subvention account. It will just be directly from the project account. So the figures will not appear here. 2019, that project closes and we have a follow-on project, which is the social safety net project. The financing mechanism in the social safety net project is they are providing budget support to NaNA. So if they pay, it goes into NaNA's book. So in 2019 vehicle maintenance, you'll find that in another source of funds in another book, that is the project account. But in 2020, because the financing mechanism is now, NaNA is giving budget support. So the vehicle maintenance will now feature in this because we are doing the inflow of the transactions in and out. So that's what explains the difference. Of course, maybe probably if you do further analysis, you might find out that the maintenance figure goes up a little bit. That is because we agreed even at the level of the agency that our fleet are aging and we spending a lot more on maintenance. Currently, we said we'll later have bilateral with the National Assembly. Our maintenance guy, Safe Hours, said they're not going to touch our vehicles because we couldn't actually pay if you don't. So the project is phasing out. We are expecting a follow-on project, but we have a gap. But that's another discussion completely from this session.
So did you sign any contract with any identified mechanic where you take your vehicles, or you take it randomly to different mechanics?
No, so we have a contract that with one mechanic that we were cleared by GPPA, and we signed. If at the end of the, let's say, if they have 2-year contract, 3-year, we'll assess them. If they, so we renew, we get clearance from GPPA. The only one that we don't have specific contract with is SAFAO, for example. If they supply, because they are the supplier, in the contract is inbuilt, and you will not see their expenditure here. This expenditure all relates to a mechanic that we have an existing contract with.
What?
From the project?
Yeah.
The project bought, MCNHRP bought about 22 vehicles. Out of the 22 vehicles, only 8 were retained at NaNA. The rest went to the Minister of Finance. Minister of Health. they will shoot me. Yeah, one at Minister of Finance. Yes. So those that we retain is the one that we have. But we bought some of these vehicles since 2013, 2015. 2013, from the MCNHRP, 14, 15. From the MCNHRP, when we realized that we are spending a lot on maintenance, we try to procure additional vehicles. But the institution is generous enough that we bought another 22 vehicles on the MCNHRP. We have only 5 or GSS 26. And everything went to our partners. We retain only 6.
It's like sometimes it's better to buy a new one than maintain an old one.
So that's why I said that's a separate discussion with you.
It is again now. Yeah. At the beginning of 2020, I don't know much. We have to do a lot of overhaul small people that has contributed high cost of maintenance.
Yeah.
Maybe, sorry, Honorable Mbo, maybe this is not for NaNA, Honorable Chair, maybe it's as far as assets are concerned, it's something that the FPAC may want to note and take up with the different ministries. Because each time a project has finished, you see that some of these assets to the guide ministries. So maybe it's important so that we have a stock of all those fleet vehicles. Not for NaNA, but for... Yeah.
I can even give a pointer if you like for that. Every World Bank financing, it is part of the general agreement between the bank and the country that if the project phases out, the project needs to list all the assets they procure under the project and have a fixed asset register. The fixed asset register report should be submitted to the Minister of Finance, and Minister of Finance needs to sit and decide which ministry needs what. If it is within an existing ministry and there is a continuity, they still need that item. They will allow them to use it, but they can recycle that same asset into other ministries that requires mobility. So this is part of agreement, and currently we are doing it. Yesterday I was working with my team to make sure that we complete our fixed asset register, and we are going to write a comprehensive report to the Minister of Finance. I said, NaNA, we have 6 vehicles from the existing project that is closing. These other items are with other departments, and as a ministry, government, Minister of Finance being the governor at Central Bank will now determine for the country which ministry get what vehicle based on your need. But we will send that report, and that is the right procedure that should actually be applied when it comes to assets of any project. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Just the last question on the 2020. What was your monthly payroll?
Our monthly payroll, I don't have it here, but I think it's in the notes. It is in the notes. Yes, government subvention, salary recovery, sundry. Yeah, so we have it. It's about 6.6 million. Page 14. That's the whole year.
No,
annual.
That's annual.
Yeah, that's annual. So you divide it by 12, and at times it will fluctuate in terms of net pay and the gross pay. The gross pay might stay the same unless if you have additional staff coming in or somebody leave, then you can, or there is somebody who get promotions, and that is the only time that gross will be affected. But on average, you divide this by 2, then you will have the gross. But this will now change significantly because the agency have strengthened itself over the period. And
that's exactly what I was coming to.
Yeah.
Where exactly are we now?
Yes. So right now we the net pay is about 2-point-something million, and
that's gross or net?
Net. 2-point-something million net.
A month.
Yeah, per month. We have about 50 to 60 staff. I can't remember the figure. 58 staff. So
per month. It's about about 2 million per month.
Yes.
Okay, because what I was trying to do is actually I'm comparing to the budget we have for 2023. I remember we had some issue when they left out the PE.
Exactly.
We highlight, so I'm just trying to confirm.
Yes.
That we are.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
We were at the national, the Minister of Finance. We had a lengthy discussion on this. Our point is, NaNA is a very important institution. The finance minister was sitting where the World Bank vividly stated two weeks ago to say, you have to give certificate to NaNA because the way they have been handling World Bank projects. But that happens because we have the staff strength. If now you say come next year, they are not receiving budget support and their salaries are going to go down, that may break that institution. So that is just a note for anybody to know. It's not specifically for something, but I'm just highlighting it because of the question you asked. Yeah.
Move to 2021.
2021.
Yeah. On page 11.
Page 11.
Page 11.
Yeah, the notes on the 2, that's the refund of 1/6. Yeah. So can you shed more light on that?
Okay. So probably if you relate this to 2020, there will be a 1/6 given to staff. No, yeah, I understand. So when you look at page 9 of 2020 accounts, you will see a 1/6 that was expense to the staff. This 1/6 was page 9 of 2020. You will see a 1/6 that was expense to the staff. But this money came in directly from Ministry of Finance and we just expense it. So during the year 2021, while they are giving us our monthly subvention, they were gradually recovering the 1/6. So if our from subvention, directly from source. So whilst they are recovering the 1/6 gradually. So if our subvention, for example, is 1 million, every month they will deduct 100,000. So technically our subvention is 1 million. But because they are deducting the 100,000 from source, yeah, we consider it as subvention. So we journalize that and include it in the subvention figure in the face of the financial statement on page 9 of the 2021 accounts as 14 million. So if you look at the addition, it's 14,297,855. This figure includes the amount that was recovered from source. We kind of disclose it in the notes to the account because we cannot bring it as a line item on the face of the financial statement as required by IPSAS.
Audit?
I thought he was going to miss it. Was he?
No, I will not miss that. I remember my figures were. I'm always involved with this.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can we proceed to the next issue?
It seems there's a balance of 4,000. It's reported by NaNA.
Yes, 4,000. Well, which page are you reading from?
No, page 13.
Page 13. Okay, man. Yes, NaNA, yes. So then may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
He passed away, and unfortunately, we couldn't recover the money. And so then somebody generously said, I'm going to pay this. I know it's government money. But we said the best thing is to just disclose it and say this is exactly what happened. It's 5,000.
Is that based on what? Based on your own
No,
opinion or based on the financial regulations?
So the loan was never guaranteed. 1/6 have not been having collaterals. So if you give 1/6 to someone and the person is no more in service, he died, it is always difficult to recover it. So as accountants, we look at materiality.
Yes, but there are rules and regulations that govern those things in those areas. Have you consulted with the Accountant General to guide you on those areas?
Well, we have not done specific consultation with accountant generals. There might be rules that we are not privy to, but we also considered as management that this is not material. If it was a heavy loan, we could not have done this because we don't even give ourselves loan in the office.
Did he have terminal benefits?
No, because he was employed. And if you are employed, the only terminal benefit you can access probably is your gratuity.
Exactly.
It's your gratuity, but that is when you are on contractual basis. The social security where he contributes through the National Provident Fund. This was the second month or the third month of his transition from the project. He spent like 4 or 5 years from the project, and by June the project staff moved and came into the agency. So automatically we would not be able to access his terminal benefit at that point.
Okay. So So what does the general order say about such a situation?
We might do a consultation of the GO and see what the GO says. But the total amount paid as 1/6, out of which 47,000 5,000 was the balance. The 4,000 was related to NaNA who passed away, and the 1,000 related to a staff who, and subsequently the one who resigns, we recover that, and that's.
Because the issue here, because based on your explanation, you are saying that he transitioned from the project over.
Yes.
So it seems like it was like almost 2 months or 3 months.
Yes, 2 months or 3 months, yes.
So, and in normal circumstances, somebody that works in a place for like 3 months, you do not qualify to get a 1/6 because there's a time period when you're actually able to qualify.
Practice came before he transitioned from the project to.
No, it was when he was employed. But the thing is, the 1/6, I don't know what kind of definition do we have in the country for 1/6, but 1/6 normally comes I've never seen in any of my professional career in any of my theory books where 1/6 is mentioned. But 1/6 is a name that I even got from government.
Exactly.
They say 1/6 have been
It's peculiar to government.
It's peculiar to government.
Exactly, yeah.
So when it is paid, they will even send a letter to the office and say, please pay 1/6 to the staff. And it doesn't specify whether somebody is employed today or somebody has been in service for 3 or 5 years. They will just send a letter and say, because Tobaski or Korite is coming, pay 1/6 to staff. Yes. So we, based on that letter, we thought it is something that is motivation to everybody. So based on that motivational circumstances, we have to disburse it to the staff, but we have to find mechanisms of recovering it. In the case of NaNA, when you look at it, a staff who resigned was having only $1,300, and this was fully recovered. Week is actually far less than the 1,000, but 4,000. But because NaNA passed away, for us putting him and face to this, yes, we are managing public fund, but we couldn't go back to the family and say, please bring back the 4,000. But we, yes.
No, we are not saying that. What we are just saying is like when you deal with public funds, personal or opinion, these things must be moved away, and then you go to really what the regulator actually says. So the best thing you could have done is to consult with the Accountant General or the Auditor General to advise you on the next step that you need to take. Okay. The management cannot just decide we have 4,000, so this pass away, so we just go like that. If it was a bank, any of the commercial bank, you know it doesn't work that way.
No, but me, Honorable Mbo, I quite agree with you if it was a private bank. But in the course of our professions, we know if we were doing an accrual accounting, we are not going to put this as, we are not going to even put it as loans not recovered from a dead person. We'll classify it as bad debt. And bad debts are actually acceptable in any accounting procedures. The circumstances is, yes, it's bad, find ways to recover it later. But
so that's why you do bad debt provision.
Exactly. So if I'm doing accrual, I'm going to name this provision of bad debt, and I bring it, you do a percentage is less than 0.05%. So you'll not hit me for this, but you'll do consultation.
That's fine. So what we are trying to get at, just to ensure that in such a situation you always consult.
Definitely.
They will guide you.
Definitely. We'll do that. Yes.
My follow-up question was like, I think when he passed away, he was in the payroll, isn't it?
Yes, and he was removed immediately.
In the payroll.
Immediately.
So it was not possible that month when
no.
He was not paid.
No, he was not paid. He was not paid. Okay. He was not paid. Yes.
Now, when this was brought to the attention of the auditors, what was your advice?
It was not necessarily brought to our attention. Okay. But it was a disclosure that they made in their accounts. And when we saw the disclosure in their accounts, for us, it was also acceptable at the time, if I'm being honest about it. And that is why we do not consider to follow it up. But what Honorable Mbo said is noted, and then we will take this into account in the future.
All instances in the unretired impress, there were people who were victims and they were late. It was mentioned. Now, what we could do is to report. Yes, these are the people who are affected. Unfortunately, so and so are late.
Yes.
Now it's left to the Accountant General to decide what to do next, but it has to be reported. Yes.
And indeed, in this case, it's not reported as an ML point, but as part of the financial statement, it is clearly disclosed in the financial statement. And where there is a need for it to be recovered, it can still be recovered because it's very clear of who is owing what.
Yes.
Yeah. It can be mentioned, and then the way of recovery now can be decided. Thank you.
No problem.
The clerk can take note. I think the outstanding is the 4 million.
No, $4,000.
Sorry, 4,000.
It's $4,000.
$4,000, yes, $4,000.
Honorable
Sorry. The $4,000 out of the 5,000.
Yes.
You have the other one that has been recovered.
That was recovered.
Sorry, let me learn. That's the 1,300 333.32
Yes,
has been duly recovered.
yes,
So the outstanding amount that is here to be recovered is the $4,000.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Can you take note, please?
Can I ask that we beg the indulgence of the FPAC to consider this as bad debt? We can pay it, it's not a problem. But also knowing the management, of course, we operate under a board of directors. And the board is aware when somebody dies, because we also consider materiality in this case.
Yes, I understand the
Yes.
explanation.
Yes.
All what we are interested to record that is an amount that is not recovered, and that the mode of recovery will be recommended. Okay?
You know, we are, how would I call it again? I don't want to, we are the messengers of the plenary. The bigger decision is done at plenary level. So our work here is just to investigate, talk to you, find out what actually happened. So at the end of the day, say, there was outstanding of 4 million, and this is what happened.
4,000.
4,000. And you see, you are taking me along. So it was 4,000, and it was partner's deceased. Now we'll make a recommendation in any case, but the plenary will have the final say, yes or no. And if they say no, then they will get back to you to tell you what you need to do.
We'll be happy to.
I think the issue here was you never seek for any financial guide, like either to be guided by the financial regulation or by the board to show as evidence that.
No, the board guided us. The board guided us, and
Where is the evidence?
no, the board wanted us to write it off.
And then the evidence is where?
The financial statements were signed by the chairman of the board, so they guided us to write the debt off, and that is why we just disclose.
You know, when you say the board guided you, then probably you need to have board minutes where it was discussed to do it this way.
And not the signature of the
signature,
board, because
I mean,
the accounts are prepared by the board of directors, even though the management take the lead.
It's prepared by somebody and they review.
Yeah, and they accepted the figures. They accepted the figures, and that's why they
Review. Okay. So can we proceed? We can proceed. Now, let's go to page 9 of 2021.
Okay.
On the expenditure, page 9. Page 9 on the expenditure, where you have board sitting allowance on note 7, with note 7. You see that? In 2020, the board allowance was 297,000.
Yes.
But in 2021, it was increased to 555,000, which is about 55% increment.
Yes.
What actually has happened here?
The board allowances are usually approved at the office of the vice president.
Okay.
So the board wrote to the vice president to review the board allowance. And we did a market research and look at the amount that other boards have been paid. I vividly remember then it was Her Excellency Esatu Ture who was the chair, who was the vice president. She even suggested that the board being paid 25,000 as other board members, considering the work and the activities NaNA have been doing. But I can clearly state that our board chair said no, we cannot do that. NaNA is not generating a lot of resources. We'll take half of that or even less than that. So from 5,000 or 7,000 to 12,000 for the chair and 10,000 for the rest.
So
And there was a written letter.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
There was a written
Can we have a copy of that letter?
Okay. We provided it to the auditors. They also asked the same question. We have it,
The written letter was from who?
the office of the vice president.
OVP.
OVP. Yes.
So can we, okay, if he was here, we can ask him if
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
satisfied
yeah,
with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then we can come back to
We
it.
can
If,
come back
if,
to it,
if
no
he has seen the letter, then we are fine.
Yes.
All right, then let's, on the same page, if you look at note 10, salaries,
Yes.
and also 11, also salaries. It seems there are 2 salaries for NaNA.
Yes.
Can you help us understand? Because if you look at note 10, in the notes here, it's telling you, let's see here. These are salaries allowance. Salaries allowance is comprised of basic salary, basic staff salaries, and other allowances. Then you read note 11 also, it says social safety net salaries and allowances. So what's the difference between the two?
So, staff salary, why you have the two is like I stated in 2020 and 2021. when we have the change of financing mechanism with our relationship with the World Bank, they have been providing budget support. And this SSNP allowance that you earlier asked in terms of question and the difference that you explained is what is actually supporting the other part of the allowance. The auditors want us to put it as salary, but we consider it as an SSNP allowance. But sometimes when you have prepare your financial statement and the auditor said, I want to satisfy myself this way, please put it in this way. So at times you don't have somebody to arbitrate and said no. So at times you follow certain things if you know it is not going to bring fundamental or significant differences. So we call this SSNP allowance and we put it as salary because the allowance is taken as part of the payroll. So once it is calculated as part of the payroll, we have to provide further disclosure to it. So we bring it as a separate line item.
Now, does it mean that everyone actually is receiving salary from the on the note 10 and also receiving salary from the other one, or you are either here or you are there, or you receive both?
So technically we receive both. Okay. The other one is just an allowance. Yes, it's just from part of this payroll.
Okay.
Yes.
Now we will need to get your payroll. I'm not sure if that was supplied. Money, have they submitted their payroll? Yes, we need to get the payroll for 2021. That actually so that we can reconcile on our own, because I'm sure there are a lot of questions. And for 2021, the payroll for 2021. Yes, all the months. Yeah, January to December. January to December. Yes. January to December.
The auditor is here.
Yes. Yes. You can note that down for the payroll for January to December 2021. We just wanted to satisfy ourselves with the board sitting. The allowance was changed from 297,000 to 555,000, and the question was like authorization, and they said that they got a letter from the OVP. So we just wanted to find out if you've seen that document indicating that the salaries for the board actually has increased.
The allowance.
The allowance, sorry.
Yes, during the course of the audit, we also realized the same increase, and we requested for the approval, which was given to us at the time of the audit.
Okay, that's fine then.
That's why for us in the report, we just brought the issue relating to non-meeting of the board.
Okay, that's fine. Only, that's fine. So we are okay with that one then.
Okay.
Yeah, these are our good partners actually. Yes, the letter that shows the increment of the approval for the board. Yes, he has seen it and he has satisfied himself with it. Yes. You know, normally when they are satisfied, we are satisfied. Normal.
I like that.
Is submitted is the payroll of 2021.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other issue?
Yes. Let's look at on page 9, not 4 and 11, contribution. If you look at the reform of the SSNP project, contribution to NaNA was 6,947,000 for 2020. Yeah, and then you come look at for 2021 it's about 8,932,076, right? They did not buy the amount of 6,923,306 and the 10 million spent for 2020 and 2021. So if you see what we're talking about here, notes 4 and notes 11.
Come again.
Notes 4.
Notes 4.
And note 11. Yeah.
And note 11.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's true. That's true. It's not margin. It's not margin. So a total reconciliation was done on this.
Okay.
So if for instance in the prior year you have inflow little bit more than the expense, in the subsequent year you have expense more than the receipt. Technically at that point either, because already it was approved and staff have been paid allowance. So the way we get the the SSNP contribution, it's tied to withdrawal application, statement of expenditure. So if, for instance, by December, you do a withdrawal application and you are expecting the budget support from the project, and the project is obviously continuing, automatically you will disburse salary, but this will be taken care of in the subsequent years. So that could be the only difference. That's the only difference. Yes.
Yes. The staff that were retained by NaNA, why is it that their payments are term management fees? What are they managing?
Okay. So it's not the staff that are retained.
Yes.
Whose salaries are called management fee.
Yes.
Is NaNA managing the SSNP project?
Yes. That is
And the
management
fee they are paid is called project management fee.
Okay. So you are paid for managing the project.
The managing the
Yes.
project.
And you charge a fee.
Yes.
Hey, I hope you are paying taxes. I hope.
Who hires you?
Who hires us? The government.
The government.
The government set up NaNA.
OVP.
The government set up NaNA. NaNA was established by an act of parliament.
Act of Parliament, yeah.
So that's why it has board of directors, management, and everybody. It's an agency that is acting on government. So government is the principal and NaNA is the agent. So when you have an agent acting on your behalf, it's natural to pay them an agent fee. So the subvention plus whatever management fee NaNA is receiving is considered to be a budget support to NaNA for effectively operation.
Okay, yeah. So why do you need subvention from government when you have enough?
If you have enough management fee,
Yes.
and I keep saying this, but you ask this question, I will now say it.
Yes.
NaNA, today people are in the field implementing UNICEF activities. The high maintenance cost on our vehicles, 70% or 50% is caused by UNICEF activities, UN activities, UN, FP, FAO, WHO, and things like that. These are the biggest supporters of nutrition. Unfortunately, because they said they are dealing with government, they don't give NaNA management fee. When they deal with governor, United Purpose Red Cross, they give the management fee. So NaNA doesn't even have a classification when it comes to that. We keep saying we are an agent of government. Government is subsidizing us. It's not enough. If you don't implement your UN activities, we will be here. So what do we do? So the only institution that understands that language is the World Bank. And that's why World Bank started giving. WFP started giving recently a small amount. And this is one of the biggest challenge of the agency. We cannot say you bring RUTF to support addressing malnutrition. NaNA say we don't have resources to go and distribute. I have several of my communication, even yesterday with the PS, to say we have RUTF at the ports, we cannot climb, we don't have a single button. We don't operate a commercial bank account because we don't want to go into liabilities, litigations and things like that. So we have a central bank account.
We will discuss during the budget.
Yes.
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 And what he's saying exactly how that happened, because the fact that they don't give us any management fee, but we still have to do the activities. And we have to use our own resources to do it. What I'm saying is, if you look at the activity report, most of the activities are supported by UNICEF. And they are not giving us any management fee. So at the end of the day, we have to use our own resources to implement those activities. And that includes the use of vehicles and other equipment. The wear and tear of those vehicles are done by the institution. So we have to look for support from other areas. And that's where World Bank has come. And where we get from government is complementing what we get from the World Bank to make sure that we implement every activity that is given to us.
Okay. We'll discuss further during the budget.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
I think that's all for the analysis. Then we can proceed with the issues in the management letter. Let's go quickly to page 25. Is it 25?
Week of the week report.
24, 2020.
2020, okay.
The first issue has to do with the National Nutrition Council. Yes, there exists a council, but the council seems not to be functional. I think the composition is very funny. Page 24, 2020. Yes. Of course, it can be related to the composition, which is dictated by the Act. Almost all of them are ministers except for the chairperson, executive director.
Exactly.
And how frequent do they meet? Chairperson?
They're supposed to meet twice a year. Unfortunately, they're supposed to meet twice a year. Unfortunately, the last meeting that was done was in 2018. Since then, we've been following the council to meet. Unfortunately, we could not get the council meet. We even have evidence.
Last meeting 2018.
2018, yes.
I'm supposed to meet
Twice a year.
biannual.
Biannual. I even have a copy of one of our request letter to the permanent secretary to request for the council to meet. Unfortunately, it is planned but twice, but we couldn't meet. What we can do at our own level is to request for the meeting, but we cannot convene the meeting. We are only a secretary to the council. The council is chaired by His Excellency the Vice President, so the onus lies on the Vice President to call up the meeting. What we can do is to request for the meeting to happen. But
They recommended that you engage the authorities on the matter to ensure the council becomes functional.
Honorable Chairman, just to add on to that, in September this year, there was a planned meeting. In fact, we went to the office of the Vice President to hold this meeting, but unfortunately there was no quorum and it had to be cancelled. So we look forward to the support of the National Assembly, and NaNA will continue engagements on this matter, because the membership is dictated by the Act, and these are issues that we really need to maybe diagnose and see what is the best remedial actions towards them. Thank you.
Yes, Chair. Okay. Chair. Yes, Chair. It seems, well, to me, there's a need to take a review of the membership. Again, if you realize some of the acts we are doing the last time, and I keep saying there are certain positions, if you make them part of a board, you will have issues because of they will not come. So it seems here, you look at the membership, minister. I mean, this one, only cabinet will get them together, cabinet meeting will put them together. So I think maybe part of our recommendation, Lamin, is to take a look at the review of the composition of the membership. Because from 2018 until now, where you expect to have maybe 6 to 8 meetings, no meeting was held, I think that's unacceptable. And if you look at their responsibilities, I mean, it's huge. So I think there should be a deliberate need. Maybe we can engage the OVP first to find out exactly why is it that the meetings are not being held since 2018. And then from there, we can make a recommendation to the committee for a review of the, of the composition of the board itself. Because it's not working.
It's not the
council, I mean. The
yes.
council.
So probably, we can also look at the responsibility, because they give that political support. But the oversight that the agency is receiving is from the board.
We know
and
that.
the board is meeting regularly.
Yes,
So,
no, we understand. But you see, the issue just highlighted prior to this issue here about the need for the support.
Yeah,
like the UN agencies are not paying for those things.
Exactly.
This should be the council that should be able to support you to do that. So there are no meeting, there's no way they will actually understand. The board's work and only stops at a certain level. From there, the council need to take it up.
Yes.
The council, there's no meeting, so this issue you mentioned probably could have handled, because they'll be dealing directly with the UN agencies, not the body itself. Yeah. Thank you.
This one will be to review the act and to engage the OVP on the matter. As the chairperson rightly alluded, they attempted, there was a planned meeting we could not hold due to lack of quorum. So that the proposal is that that can form part of our recommendations.
And Chair, if you may wish to take note, this does not only affect NaNA as an institution, but it also affects other satellite institutions. And I hope in your endeavor to review that, it should not be limited just to NaNA, but looking at other sister agencies, arrangements that they also have.
Specifically NDMA.
Exactly.
Well, they'll be coming.
Exactly.
So when they appear, you can take up with them. Yeah, then the next one has to do with the board allowance signature that could be found in 25 page. This was also highlighted by the board that a member was paid with sitting allowance during the period under review. However, he did not sign on the sundry voucher attached as evidence of receipt. The management responded.
Yes.
The audit recommended that the management should ensure that all board members receiving an allowance for sitting sign for it as an acknowledgement of the receipt of money, and the management responded.
Yes. So I will read from the response directly.
Yeah, you can.
That the board member already had an undertaking in respect of settlement of an expense in court on his behalf. As a PSC member of the MCNHRP, this is the permanent secretary of the Office of the Vice President. He was a former one. He was a member of the MCNHRP. A strategic recovery plan was agreed with him. All monies due to him as a board member of the agency will be charged against the amount. And we already have an undertaking letter and even provided this to the auditor. This particular payment made against the settlement, he didn't receive the money. We took the money, his allowance, because of the
Are you reading? Just read.
Okay. No, I'm explaining now. Okay. But so the particular payment made against the settlement of the account was paid directly into the bank account of the agency. The pay-in slip was attached to the voucher. So the board member didn't receive it because we have a recovery strategy.
That's okay.
Okay.
Then the auditor will respond.
Maybe I should just verbatim read what we had in the, before I give my explanation.
Okay.
The strategic recovery plan mentioned above was not submitted to office for review. However, after further consultation on this particular issue, there was evidence that this particular board member owed.
Can you use the mic? Adjust it. Yeah, okay.
Like I was saying, there was evidence that this particular board member did owe NaNA. And as a result, there was an undertaking that he made as they rightly put in their response. And I can confirm that the money was definitely paid into the account of the NaNA instead of giving it to the board member direct in order to settle the liabilities that he owed.
So one
The
will.
liabilities came up that they were supposed to travel, and the travel did not take place. And as a result, he had already used that money, and they agreed in a payment plan to use his allowances to be, to ensure that his allowances is used to repay the allowances that he was paid. The per diem allowances he was.
You will conclude that the matter has been resolved.
Correct.
Thank you. Do with the PIC and then the PIC.
No, hold on, before we move. Okay. We need to clear this one here. We understand the issue, according to the auditor, that he was paid an allowance, was meant for a particular purpose, that is to travel. He didn't go, but he did not refund the money. Was it in the whole of the money or part of the money?
So it was part of the money. And the source of the allowance was from the bank project. The project was closing at that point. And he was not having the money to refund, because we have to document in the World Bank project that the person supposed to travel, he didn't go. And if he don't provide the boarding pass, we cannot do our supporting documents. So we told him, you have to pay, the project is closing. He said he was not having money. Management decided to agree with him that we will use our internal resources to settle this and close the project. But we have to find a recovery mechanism. And he said, because I'm a sitting board member, any money used to me as my board allowance, put it towards my recovering this loan. So anytime he come for a meeting, instead of signing, we'll take his allowance and put it in the bank and take the lodgement slip and attach it to the.
So did he sign the undertaking with you?
Yes. He even sent a letter.
Letter, okay.
Yes,
That's fine,
he
yeah.
even sent a letter.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Our attention has been drawn that only one mic should be on at a time. Otherwise, it echoes in the studio. So we proceed. You are okay, Honorable? The next issue has to do with the PIC and the PSC meeting. The auditors in PAC 26 noted that from the review of the Project Implementation Committee and the Project Steering Committee meeting minutes, they noted that the committee held meeting only once for the period under review. And on that, recommended that the management should ensure that the board meets at least once every quarter as required in order to discharge their functions as an oversight committee and add value to the agency. Management responded?
The management response is that the meeting was held as part of the project closure process. The email requesting for the meeting from the World Bank and all the stakeholders was available and the minutes. And it's also included in the aid memo. So as far as the management is concerned, the last meeting of the project steering committee and the project implementation committee was held.
Audit?
The matter is not about meeting requests, but ensuring that meetings were held. It is stated as a requirement that they need to meet at least quarterly. However, we do not have evidence that this was the case.
Yeah, so for us, the meeting was actually held in a sense that when the project started in 2013, the PSC and the PAC has been meeting consistently until the project closure in June, the last quarter, 2020. The World Bank requested that let's just have a joint meeting and discuss this project closing strategy and also discuss the project implementation completion report. In that meeting, you have almost all the PIC members and the PSC members coming together. We consider that meeting as a PSC meeting. I think that is where the difference is. The auditor is saying no, it has to be a separate meeting for the PIC and the PSC. But this was the last meeting. We have conducted over 20 or over 10 meetings because quarterly they have been meeting since 2013 until June 2020.
Now adhering to that to be in line with the dictates of the Act.
Yes, all the time.
And this COVID-19, so that's why we have to join the two. Some of you have to join through virtual to make sure that at least they contribute to the meeting.
The other issues in the management letter are addressed, which are the presentation format, statement of receipt and payments have been addressed. Incorrect treatments of refunds in PAC 29 also have been addressed. And we still have query on the difference between the financial statement and activity report in PAC 30. PAC 30, where the audit finding, the auditor noted from the inspection of the agency 2020 activity report and its 2020 activity report and its 2020 financial statement a significant variation on the reported income and expenditure in the activity report. Details are shown in the table below, and they are recommended that the management should ensure that they report their financial information accurately in the annual activity report as stated in their financial statements to avoid misinterpretation of their financial activities by users. Management?
The amount stated in the activity report is in respect of total receipt and expenses for the entire operation of the agency, including funds that are being received from UN bodies. The amount quoted in the financial statement, that is the 10,608,000, is just the subvention. So if you are comparing two figures that are not the same source, you will quote it wrong. And we stated this clearly, that the activity report provided looks at every funds that is supporting activities of the agency. So we quoted a figure to say for 2020, the activities that are reported in the activity report were financed by this, and the composition of that is government resources, UN resources, World Bank resources, everything put together. Unfortunately, when we submit our financial statement, which is just for the subvention, the figure quoted will just be for subvention. We are not doing a consolidated account for the agency because each financier or each donor have their reporting requirements. So we do a lot of series of audits and financial statements separately and submitted. And if you look at our activity report submitted for 2020, the one that was submitted during the audit was draft. The final one, we don't even go into the issues around figures. We just highlight the activities, and the figures are in the financial statements. Thank you.
Yes, Chair.
There was no activity report attached to confirm this against the financial statement. Thus, this finding is still outstanding after the finalization of the audit. However, although it was addressed in 2021, I think what we need to be also mindful is the activity report that we are presenting to FPAC is relating to NaNA as an introducer. So if the whatever it is in the activity report should go in line with what is in the financial statement, you could have a bigger report, if you like, for all your projects. But as far as the audited financial statements are concerned, the activity report should speak to the financial statement as well. Yeah. But this was addressed in 2021.
That recommendation is taken, and we will ensure that we delineate the reports in future, and specifically a report as per financing. We might submit a different format or copies of two formats, but we will look into this and make sure our reporting is consistent with financial statement. Thank you.
Yes, I just wanted to find out if they have a separate audited account for the projects.
Yes, we have separate audited accounts for the projects.
Yes, those audit accounts should be submitted as well to the FPAC. In fact, I'm not sure if you received the letter, but we are writing to all the projects. They should be submitting all the audit accounts of all the projects of government from all the ministries. So I'm not sure if you have received the letter.
We have not yet.
Not yet, yes.
But this is noted, and we will happily submit all the audited accounts for the projects that we are implementing.
Yeah, maybe we need to confirm with Lamin to ensure that those letters went out. I'm not sure. To all the ministries that actually, and all their satellite agencies that have projects under their purview must submit all audited accounts to the FPAC as well.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Proceed. For difference between the lady and the financial statement, that issue has been addressed. In page 32, we have improper maintenance of staff personnel. That also no issue. Then in page 33, we have no IT server continuity. The IT man is around. They will be interested to know why. The auditor noted that the agency did not have backup store in a secure outside storage facility concerning the NaNA operating account, data protection and recovery, and thus recommended that the management should ensure an IT service continuity plan to be put in place for data kept outside from the office, updated and tested regularly. Management.
The agency is currently working with the Accountant General's Department to install the FPAC system. Once the implementation is complete, the situation will be addressed. Let me just quickly add that having a separate IT of the office to safeguard the financial information in case of accident, fire, or anything. It can be a huge expenditure. These are capital expenditure. But as a government, we want to ensure that all government ministries, departments, and agencies use the FPAC system. We have a separate. So we are working very hard with the Accountant General's Department to get the FPAC.
So as at now,
The situation is the training is the consultation is still ongoing. They requested for our chart of accounts, the budget. So what is left is they are still working on the system parameters to ensure that it suits NaNa's reporting, because we are not only doing the subvention, but like we said, the projects should all be moved to the IFMIX.
Yeah, yes. What systems do you actually have at NaNa in operation right now as far as ICT is concerned?
In terms of financial management system, we have FINEX. We call it Financial Expert for Projects and Programs. This is one of the most efficient system in terms of accounting software is concerned.
Hey.
It gives you your books. It can even prepare your vouchers in the system. The bank letters are all printed directly. Just enter the figure. It picks the banks that you are even dealing with, and it pulls the figures to the financial statement and prepare everything for you. That's the one we are using, and we expect IFMIX parameters to do a similar thing. That's what we hope.
So what else is that? That's the only software that you actually use
currently for accounting software. But of course, in terms of maintaining nutrition information,
yeah,
we used to have the nutrition information system NIS. We also have the MIS for NAFA management information. During the NAFA quick, we use a database called Kobo. So we have different IT experts that we have been working with.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the reason why I'm asking, because the issue of IFMIS is very specific to your accounts only.
Accounts, yes.
So IFMIS will not resolve what the auditors actually are querying, because you also have other software that you actually use which have nothing to do with the IFMIS, because IFMIS actually is just the accounting software.
So for those ones, we have the cloud server. We are paying to, for example, the BIO system that is hosting the nutrition data for us.
From outside the Gambia?
Outside the Gambia, but they have a local partner.
Are you aware of any data laws that govern those things?
Yes, we are aware.
Which one?
The Data Protection Act.
No, we don't have that yet.
Well, it was in the draft, but I know there are laws. So why we even went in for that was because the Health Management Information System, MIS, which was the HMIS, is hosted by those people. So we worked with a project that is the Roots project to support us. So they brought in, they helped us acquire that cloud server. But at the moment we are exploring, we are also working with some of our partners to make sure we have a cloud server that will be hosting this data. And if the IT system will allow it, even the FINEX, if it can be web enabled and store in the cloud, we will support that.
Now, how about the NAFA?
So the NAFA, okay.
Thank you. Let me just. This is important because even in the finalized cost strategy plan, if you get to the thematic area on monitoring and evaluation, I think the integration, not only financial, but the nutrition data, is something that we have realized, as an agency, that we really can do better. Because any project that comes, we have a standalone management information system. Once the project is over, that is shut down. So we are also working towards having a comprehensive management information system, that would not only take on board the nutrition data, but even the finances. Like the NAFA program management information system now, it has a payment module. It has a grievance redress mechanism module. It has a social and behavior change module. So this is the thinking now, the integration of nutrition data, financial data, that is well secured, taking into consideration the confidentiality issues that the country is also really working on very hard, so that the data privacy of clients or citizens is well protected. But we are really focusing on the integration of a one-stop shop for management insurance system. Thank you.
And we have an opportunity as a country that we are aware of as an agency. There is a project in Offin, harmonizing and improving statistics in West and Central Africa. We will continue to engage partners, particularly GBOS, to make sure data security, improving and harmonizing data is actually something that we'll continue to explore. So the recommendation is highly taken, and we'll continue to work with other partners.
Yes, it's always good to consult, particularly the ministry that's responsible, so that they can give guidance. Because again, there's a lot of issues on data security, particularly storing data of your own, citizens outside this country. They need to give some kind of like guidance, because particular example, even on the email issues we have. You remember the last time in Parliament, I had to tell the minister that we need to stop that and then use our own email systems. Because if you check the U.S. Cloud Act, they have the power to take a look at your own email. That's if you are using Gmail or Outlook, whatever it is. Outside non-US citizens, but the US citizens, they do not have the powers. The act doesn't give them that power, but they give them the power to be able to scrutinize emails from outside US citizens. You and I, if they want, they can check our emails, and that's the reason why we need to be really very careful on what we store outside the Gambia, on what and the kind of platform we actually use. We need to be, but I'm sure if you do consultation with the ministry, they'll be able to give you guidance here.
And that validates my Director General's statement that he will not respond to any email that doesn't come from NaNA.gm. So all of us are using NaNA.gm.
No problem. We'll take your email then.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Very much. We proceed. Take 34, 3.3.4 variance on budget figures. The audit noted that from the inspection of the budget estimate that some of the budget line items varies with compared to the actuals. Details are shown in the table below, and there the audit recommended that the management should engage the relevant authorities to receive the amount approved for agency, and management should ensure that realistic budgeting is adhered to. Response?
Yeah, we will respond to the realistic budgeting, and you will help us mobilizing from government. So my response to that, the agency will continue to engage Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs and the National Assembly for provision of adequate subvention for effective implementation of nutrition programs.
The issue is on trying to adhere to
Budget.
Yes.
Yes. So basically, the problem that we have is if you submit the budget to the Ministry of Finance, our budgets are normally in two folds: PEs, personal emoluments, and operating expenses, and the third one is the capital expenditure, that is the investment development. Over the years, I'd never remember Minister of Finance disbursing a single button towards development budget. Operating expenses, we'll send our cash plan and we'll say on monthly basis, we require 500,000 for operational expenses. But sometimes what we'll get 25,000 or even less. If you say our PEs is 1.4 million on monthly basis, they will give you 900,000 or 1 million. So as a subvented institution, it's always very difficult for us to operate. Today, none of us are having let's say internet. Our connection have been disconnected for the past 6 months. So these are some of the challenges. And the auditor, they're very smart to say that the authorities should help us. Huh? I think they put that. You read that?
What is so take?
Honorable Chair, I think as far as budget is concerned, like NaNA and almost every other agent, they are faced with the same constraint, including NAO. So my position is that I know I think it's 2022 also, you have started bringing out line item of the agency and the approved amount for them. I hope that you dividend, but otherwise I think the agencies, if you send the money to the line ministry, if you send 5 million to the line ministry may decide to send out 1 million to the different satellite institutions, and not even considering what they have budgeted for. And I think it is high time that once you approve the budget, it's high time that when you are giving funds, you are also mindful of what you have approved, not just sending whatever you want to send.
Yes. For me, still now, we understand the budget constraints on all these agencies. But the fact of the matter is this. When the board actually approves your budget, you are also expected to stick with what is approved. Because if you look at the variances here, it's a little bit very high. For example, if you look at the maintenance, for example, the budget was 111,300, but the actual figure now is about 381,000. You look at another one, maintenance of vehicles, the budget was 306,000, but then your actual becomes 811,000. Now, which means you are actually spending more than what is actually was budgeted for. Now, the question then is, who is actually approving this?
So, what we have always been doing, at the end of every 6 months, precisely June, we look at we do a budget variance analysis and run a budgetary control report. At that period, we will write to the board and say, we have a budgetary report on, for example, travel. Let's say fuel. The budget was 1 million. We didn't spend anything. Yeah. On electricity, we have a budget of 450,000. But then I can vividly remember the project was supporting our maintenance, and I mentioned this earlier. For example, was giving us fuel. Stationary, we have this. So when we run the budgetary control report, we will prepare this budgetary control report, give it to them, and we via sum and get the board to approve that before we even continue. And in this case, that is what was done. We actually have the budgetary control report, the board signs that, and this was provided. So we can't say exactly, maybe the issue might be different to the auditor, because what they put as a recommendation and the over expenditure, when you look at it, some items are over, negative variance, adverse variance, some are favorable variances. But when you look at the expenditure, the recommendation, management should engage relevant authorities to receive the right amount. And that is actually the issue for us at that time.
What's the name again?
Lamin Jai.
Lamin.
Yes.
If you look at, let me take it to the salary, for example. Your budget for the salary is 5.19 million.
Yes.
But the actual is about 6.6 million.
Yes.
Which is a variance of 1.4 million.
4 million.
You see, issues with salary, for example, either you under-budgeted or something actually must have happened wrongly. Because of salaries, these are numbers that doesn't lie.
No, and we explained the budget.
Exactly. Yeah. So what happened? Because of you budgeted for, so salary is 5.1 million, based on the staff numbers that you actually have, but you end up spending 6.6 million. You will not have this in 2021. 2020, we said we transition. The project closes in June. No, I understand. Yeah, so if salary specific. Yeah. Because staff transition, initially the project for MCNHRP was expected to close in 2021 July. Because of the fast disbursement, we revised the closing date, and this happens at NaNA most of the time. Even this current project, we have to revise closing date because of high disbursement. So we close, instead of July 2021, we closed June 2020. The staff who were on the project were never envisaged to move into the agency payroll. So technically, when we revised the closing date within the middle of the year, we were preparing for the SSNP. Some critical staff must be maintained, and that was agreed between the bank and this. So we moved this staff. That actually led to salaries being altered. And that's why I said when we do the budgetary control report, we have to indicate that we require more funds taken from other budget lines to salary. So essentially, you are just confirming that during the planning of your budget, those were not
yes. So during the course of the implementation, when certain events happen, you have to go back to the books and do the adjustments.
Which means that there was no proper planning when you were doing the budget. You could have.
No, there was, but when you look at the entire variance, if you do a proper variance analysis, you have more than 15% of the variance you require other additional resources. That would have been maybe you didn't properly plan. But it's the same resources that we receive, we are trying to manage. But we have to prioritize. Even if you plan for fuel, we wanted to buy fuel 1 million. We got support from somewhere that they gave us fuel. We definitely cannot buy fuel. And that's why you have a positive variance on fuel. So when we said we require additional staff to move who are critical, and this other project say our operational strategy will change, you have to bring this staff to support the SSNP, and we give you this. So that technically we have to go back.
I want to beg you to agree with us that
I don't agree easily like that.
1 year is too long. 1 year is too long for somebody to do a very realistic budget. And best practice says that within the year, you can have an opportunity to do a budget review. And exactly that's what the agency did. 6 months through the journey, they realized that there are certain amendments that really need to be done in the budget. And that's what they acted upon to prepare a revised budget that will be submitted for both consideration, and that's what was actually done. That's why you could see both positive and negative variances. Thank you.
Yes. We understand that it's just a planning tool, and things can change along the way. We understand that, but things like salaries is really very abnormal. With such, if you look at the percentage increment from what was budgeted for, what, you're talking about close to 20%, and which is very abnormal in the salaries. Except if you have to do a lot of hiring during the course of the year, which was not earlier planned. For things like fuel maintenance, I can understand. Basically what you do. You may have support from somewhere, then you don't have to use what's in the budget, and then you may move that amount to somewhere else during the course of the year. We understand.
But the salary one, do you agree? Like I said,
no, I don't agree with it, because that one I think you didn't plan.
No. We don't need to plan.
Yes.
We don't need to actually plan. Like I said, NaNA is an agency that is operated. Government is taking 21 million, 30 million and giving it to the agency to implement projects. And we have to staff ourselves in such a way that we can effectively implement these projects. If you check all the projects implemented by NaNA, either satisfactory or highly satisfactory. The MCNHRP, the IRR, as an accountant, internal rate of return is 195%. You can't do that investment anywhere. Without the staff, you would not. And we are aiming for the same return for the SSNP. If NaNA is going to continue to implement the SSNP, we still require the critical staff. The financing agreement mode of operation changed. NaNA, you have to implement this project fully. We are not going to buy fuel for you, take it from your management fee. We are not going to pay your staff, take it from your management fee. It is just natural that NaNA moves the critical staff that are required to implement the SSNP and have that highly rated. If the revision comes in the middle of the year, automatically we have to take the staff and employ them. And this is that's what happened. You will never see a salary difference within a year in any of our operations except 2020. Because MCNHRP closed, SSNP was coming, the financing mechanism all completely changed. We have to make sure that some staff, we let off certain staff, almost close to 20 staff that we are not needed.
Okay, so that means at the time of the project, when the project is about to close, you realize that you don't have the right people in NaNA outside the project. Then you have to bring these people to continue.
So it's not about the right people. When we were going into the MCNHRP, NaNA have staff, core staff. But in order to effectively operate that particular project, we need additional staff, additional capacity. The additional capacity led to hiring of certain staff that were hired as consultant by the bank through the project. So they came in, for example, an M&E specialist, a data analyst, a financial management specialist, a procurement specialist. So these are critical staff, and they will be needed for the implementation of the SSNP. Those that will not be needed were laid off immediately after the closure of MCNHRP in the middle of 2020.
Yeah.
But those that are needed for the implementation of SSNP, you are absorbed into the agency because we want to maintain the capacity that is built for sustainability.
Yes, you see, with the with the kind of work NaNA is actually doing,
Yes,
working with different agencies,
agencies.
there are critical stuff that you need to have.
Thank you.
Not depending on the project.
Thank you.
Particularly M&A and procurement. These are key.
Thank you.
So what I'm trying to get at is like these people were even needed even before the project. So
You are needed and they were there.
Exactly.
But for example, there were 2 accountants. We hired additional one. We have a procurement officer. We need another additional one. And during this period, we have the NAFA that covers the entire country, NAFA quick. We had the BRES that was ongoing. We also have the UN agencies that were coming with a lot of support. And NaNA have to take this on board. The only thing that we can do is to make sure we have the adequate capacity to do this. Yeah, so that is what led to retain some of the staff. And in moving to 2023, this is the kind of agency we want to build. And it happens in almost a lot of countries where specialized agencies and authorities needs to have the relevant capacity in-house. You don't need to be laying off staff and allowing others to leave.
that's exactly what I was trying to get at.
And we want the support of the National Assembly to
Sure.
get to this.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, finally, we are in agreement.
Could be found in page 36, and that has to do with the rental income. Under the findings, the auditor noted that the agency's restaurant was rented out to a catering service provider, that is the Jarvis Conference and Catering Service, at a tune of $72,000 per annum. The restaurant had an outstanding rent of $85,250 as of 31st December 2020. The details are shown in the table below for 2019 and 2020. And there the auditor recommended that the management should ensure that the outstanding rent is recovered from the restaurant service provider and action taken to avoid recurrence of such. Management?
Yeah, Jabi Conference and Catering Service was sent a demand note immediately. And I can happily say that this was settled. And in 2020, you will not see an outstanding balance. Yeah, we already settled, yes.
Yes, it was
Address.
addressed.
The next issue also has been addressed, that is the misstatement of income that has been addressed. Likewise, the management fees in page 38.2 also has been addressed. I will get to page 39, that has to do with the late payment of the withholding tax. The findings from the review of the agency's withholding tax returns to GRA, the audit noted that they were not in full compliance with the monthly returns as required by the authority due to late returns. The following late payments samples were noted and extracted for the period under review, highlighted in the table below, and there the auditor recommended that the management should ensure that they comply with the law by making payments to the authority on a monthly basis, and that the returns should be made by the 15th of the following month, according to the regulation. Management?
This recommendation was highly noted. This usually arises as a result of non-receipt of adequate subvention from the government, thus creating cash flow issues for us all the time.
Audit? Before you complete, let me hear from the audit.
If you refer to our 2021,
Yes,
this issue is already addressed.
address. Honorable?
Yes, you know, when you contract somebody to pay for something, you must have had the money already, because you cannot commit NaNA when you don't have the money in place. And this 10% withholding is from the total sum that is due to a vendor. For example, if a vendor buys something 50,000 from you, NaNA, the withholding, like you withhold 10%, which is about 5,000. Yeah. So before you commit, you must have had the funds to pay for the vendor. So this is the money that's supposed to go to the vendor, that you are taking from the vendor to give to the government.
Yes.
So it's two things.
Yes.
Either you are committing NaNA when you don't have the funds, and then in fact, maybe you are not even paying the vendor on time.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
You know what I mean?
And in
vendor, that's what I know.
yes.
Honorable Mayor, so his argument does not stand up.
Okay, so let me.
Is they have settled it.
Yeah, you know, he doesn't like he talking to his vendor, that's why.
No, it's on. Yeah, so we already settled the issues here in 2012, but we will continue to advocate that we don't want recurrence of issues like this, honestly, and yes.
Can we move to page 40, miscalculation of expenditure line items that has been addressed? And finally, page 42, the prior year audit matters. The table we have full register implemented, risk management policy implemented, organizational chart implemented, rental income not implemented as of 2020, but we are told in 2021 has been addressed. And in the project implementation committee and project steering committee implemented, overstatement of income not implemented due to the recurrence of the control weakness. We'll get to know that in 2021 as well. The reform of the pre-finance implemented, accounting manual implemented, no strategic plan not implemented, and no security management IT that security policy implemented. Overall, the management responded to issues that were highlighted. Can I give you the floor to do the response?
Yeah, from the table above, there was no fuel purchase during the year under review. On point 2, yes, implemented. Point 3 was implemented. Due to COVID-19 implications, on point 4, we could not recover the rental income. But like I mentioned, that is fully implemented now as of today. On point 5, it was implemented. Point 6, as per the 2019 final audit report, this issue was done and verified by the auditor. Point 7 was implemented, 8 was implemented, point 9, it was awaiting the approval, which is now done. The National Nutrition Plan and even the strategic plan are all costed and finalized and validated. Point 10 is also implemented. So we are in the right direction for all this.
There is a further comment from the auditor on point 6. Audit? Page 43.
It was just to confirm point 6 was implemented.
Okay. Honorable members, this has brought us to the end of the analysis and then review on the ML. Now, we go straight to the GVA compliance. And in the compliance, we restrict ourselves to issues that are non-compliant. Where we have non-compliance, the first point will be in page 7. You have your copy? That's the GVA. Page 7. Page 7, point 3 were findings, non-compliance. The team of the reviewers saw that NaNA organizational structure, which shows the reporting line procurement unit to the finance from the finance and administration. From finance and administration. Management. In the box.
This is noted and it's been corrected in the new revised scheme of service and service rule. It is now corrected. We have a new line of reporting for the SPU.
Giveaway.
This one will be confirmed during our our subsequent review.
Yes. Resolved.
I'm saying we are going to confirm that.
To be confirmed.
Yeah.
In the subsequent review. Honorable?
Yes. Just to remind them that the GPPA Act actually has changed. Now they have a new one, which is GPPA Act 2022. Maybe you need to, I'm not sure if you are aware of that, but if not, you need to get a copy of that. A lot of things actually have changed in that particular one. Yeah. So you just align whatever you are trying to change with the new regulation. Yeah.
Has that been noted? The other issue of non-compliance has to do with the functions of sales procurement unit, and the non-compliance indicated page 10. During the review, the process GPPA from 100 national requisition was completed. However, they observed that the estimated cost is always the same with the amount quoted by the supplier. Recommended forward. This shows that this shows that the form 100 is filled after collecting invoice from the suppliers, and their recommendation was made that the SPU should ensure GPPA Form 100 national requisition is completed at the start of any procurement process. This will solely help the situation to establish price reasonability offered by the potential suppliers when compared with the prevailing market prices. Furthermore, the cost estimate on the Form 100 guide the institution in terms of fund availability to start the procurement, and that the award criteria shall be clear or specific to help the contract committee select the most responsive supplier as per requirement laid out in the solicitation document. This will further make award decision more transparent and justifiable. And there the management responded as follows.
Thank you, Honorable. This is noted and is adjusted. It can be confirmed in their next assessment. We even have a specified staff who is taking care of the F1F and other forms from the GPPA.
It will be confirmed in our subsequent review.
Subsequent review. Now let's move.
Yes, no, hold on. The procurement staff and their qualifications. You have 3 staff. Their qualification, it seems there's only one, Abdullah, that has a diploma in procurement. Is that correct? Yes, I see Abdullah Danso, procurement officer, and the qualification is advanced diploma in procurement. The first one didn't show anything, and the third one didn't say anything. So is it that, yeah, BSc in what? BSc does mean that you have done procurement actually.
So we can confirm that the status has changed. Martin Jai has a BSc in administration, but also have a certificate in procurement. Abdullah Danso was having an advanced diploma in procurement. Now we have a BSc in procurement. And we also have Mr. Mustafa Drame, who is also advanced diploma in procurement. So we are strengthening the unit. We want to keep NaNA as a center of excellence. Please help us.
Mustafa has a bit of experience in GPPA regulation, so he's helping us in the GPPA forms.
Can we move to page 11? That has to do with the functions of the contract committee, which also non-compliance is noted. The review team was informed that the following names on the table below have been appointed contract committee members, but there was no evidence provided to prove that members were appointed formally. This is a violation of section 47(3) of the Act, that's the GPA regulation 18(2), and there the recommendation was made that the PO should ensure that the members of the contract committee are appointed formally in writing as cited in section 47(3) of the GPA Act and Act 2018 and GPA regulation 18(2) of 2019. Management.
This was noted, and members were formally written to and appointed, and there are even letters of appointment as committee members.
Copies were sent.
And copies were sent to GBPA.
GPA
We will confirm that in our subsequent review.
also to be confirmed. The next query is in page 16 that has to do with the procurement planning, also non-compliance. During the years under reviewed, there was no annual procurement plan for 2017, 2018 to 2020, which is not in line with section 229 of the GPA Act and in the GPA regulation section 25 to 25, section 25.2.1252, and the recommendation advanced was that the National Nutrition Agency should ensure that the annual consolidated procurement plan and any adjustment or update in annual procurement plan is sent to the authority accordingly. The response?
Noted, annual procurement plans will be developed annually and submitted to GPPA, and this is now happening.
2022.
Give me
We will confirm that.
a lot to be confirmed.
Yes. Are they also paying? You know, when they prepare this, there is an amount they're supposed to pay.
For the procurement plan?
Yes.
No.
They don't.
No. No, they are.
The next is still in page 16 on pre-qualification registration of suppliers. There was non-compliance in that as well. And during the review, the procurement proceedings, the authority observed that some requests for quotation and single source procurement transaction had no technical specifications, which is not in accordance with the GPA Act section 25(1), 2, 3, 4, and that of the regulation, of Act 2018. And there, the recommendation that was advanced noted that the PO should ensure that the specifications are generated in all procurement and provided in the solicitation documents. I'm struggling with the printout, it's not very clear. Solicitation documents in each transaction to help promote their competition transparency to all prospective suppliers to compete in the procurement process as required in the GPA, that is the Amendment Act 2018, Section 25(1), 2, 3, 4. And the management responded.
This has actually been the practice at NaNA. We may have missed this one. Anyhow, noted, and we'll do that. And this is now being done. You cannot procure without having a specification of what you want to procure. Really, we are now doing that fully.
GPA?
It will be noted, and then we will confirm that in our subsequent.
The next issue on non-compliance will be found in page 19, and that has to do with submission and receipt of bids. there is no secure facility for receipt of tenders or quotation as per the GVR 53.2 and the recommendation that was advanced for the purpose of integrity of the procurement process in line with the objective of the Act. There is a need for the PO to have both the tender and quotation box insecure within the premises, preferably next to the Executive Director's office, and that the agency's suppliers should be sensitized to start delivering quotation and bids to the tender or quotation boxes. The manager responded.
This was noted. Tender box is now provided at the premises, and all tenders are now using the tender box.
But it's at the reception, so we'll move it to the Executive Director's office. It's at the reception, we'll move it.
Yes, that's fine, but who has the key?
The key is with the administrative manager.
Administrative manager?
Yes, the admin manager.
The reason why I put it at the reception is the fact that we have a secure door upstairs. So if somebody come to do a tender in the box, if it's an office director, it will be difficult unless somebody clears you. So if you don't have anybody to clear you, you may come late. So that's why we put it downstairs. But the key is with the finance man, the admin manager.
GBB?
That one also will be confirmed in our subsequent review.
Good. Clearly, we go to the last page, and that has to do with the recommendations that were advanced. These were read by GBB, and then during the time of the presentation, the committee will review the recommendations that were advanced for consideration, and that will form part of our recommendations in our report to be submitted to the plenary. GBB is rated, NaNA is rated at 5% compliant. I think it's high, but still more effort should be done.
They are trying to get center of excellence. They should talk about 95% and more. Huh? So now the tender box is there. Maybe that's additional 5%.
Huh? With all that has been stated, noted, will not appear in 2021 if all fully adhered to. We are expecting 100% compliance.
Honorable, honestly, they are really trying.
Yeah.
If you
Thank you, we'll improve.
Honestly, we're expecting 100% compliance.
Improvements.
We move to the last, and that has to do with the activity report. Honorable members, we have two booklets for activity reports. I'm sure you've gone through. If you have any issue in any of them, let's quickly go through. Now, if you look at the financial statements, there are issues regarding activities that were also highlighted. And then we can just have the copy, and if we have issues, then we can try to ask for clarifications.
Is it them having issues? Because for me, to be honest with you, looking at the activity reports and then visiting my communities, especially the intervention areas, they're doing great, definitely. So I don't know, maybe they tell us there are challenges in having these activities implemented, because I know it's not going to be easy. And because it's nutrition, and then nutrition would improve the health of the people, at the same time their economic status. So I do visit the communities and then compare that to reports coming here. So that's how I judge things. But to be honest with you, not to make you happy, but you are doing great.
And this man,
Thank you, Honorable. I think that's something that we would definitely keep reflecting on, and as the saying goes, when a bar is set high, we wouldn't really want to do anything less than that. We would continue to strengthen from one level to another. But just to tell you that our key challenge is to scale up. We know what works. Not that we are galloping or we are just kind of doing things in the dark, but we know what works to scale up the proven nutrition interventions, be it nutrition specific or sensitive, which we know. The issue is funding, just as the Director of Finance alluded to earlier. For the past 20 years, since NaNA was established, not a single dime has actually come for nutrition program implementation. But for PEs, OCs, we really thank government for that. But if you look even in the report, you would see supported by UNICEF, by FAO, by WFP, by World Bank. It's something that it doesn't tell well as a country. Honestly, not a single dime has come for programs. If the donors or the bilateral partners or whatever shut their doors today, we do. So the challenge is funding to really scale up the proven nutrition intervention, be it specific or nutrition sensitive. Thank you.
We know, how to do it. We know how to do it. We know what works, how it works.
The other thing that I wanted, I know that would be a challenge. And then the other challenge probably like going to these communities and then having these very innovative programs going that are improving the lives of the people. And sometimes what bothers me much is like when the project stop, the activities stop in communities. And then it's like everything moves back to zero as nothing has happened before. Like the sustainability aspect of it. This I know something also. But to be really with you, definitely what you people are doing when you go there, because I know you even do work with other NGOs like Child Fund and then others, because you do have programs. So you're doing great, but I don't know. Whether do you what about the involvement of the people, like the communities that you work with, in terms of our bottom-top approach or top?
Thank you very much. I think we'll be very happy to mention about that. So I think NaNA, we are doing it differently because the challenge is ourselves. Like the director of M&A already alluded to, we've raised the bar so high, and that we don't want to come down. With regards to nutrition, it has a lot to do with social and behavior change communication, right? Most of the things that we want to change have some culture and culture-sensitive issues surrounding them. So if in the beginning, what we did is to develop a strategy, and the development of the strategy have to involve the community at the grassroots level. Right from the design of the strategy, a situation analysis was done to inform the development of the strategy for social and behavior change communication. So this was done. And then because like we want to improve the health and nutritional status of people, the first thing that we always do with the community is to educate them on how to diversify their diet, to educate them on the complementary feeding and what needs to be done to stay healthy at the level of the community. So we work through the community structures, build their capacity, and we expect them to disseminate that information at the level of the community, at the level of their people. So this is definitely what we do. And then the sustainability that you mentioned is inbuilt right from the conception of the project and even the program as far as nutrition is concerned, for both nutrition sensitive and nutrition specific. So you can realize that we have a lot of structures that we work at community level, build their capacity in terms of nutrition, basic nutrition, and this is really expected of them, and we don't leave them. We also offer the coaching and mentoring along the way, so that at any given time, they are abreast with the realities of some of those issues surrounding nutrition to make sure that their capacity is built, they know what to do, and then how to do it, and then we have to follow them to make sure that those things are maintained at any given level. Thank you.
In the production of these news letters, how many times do you produce them in a year? Is it once or twice or quarterly?
Twice a year, we produce biannual newsletter summarizing the activity that we do and share with partners.
I just want to add small to what my colleague has said in terms of working with the communities. If you go to any community that is already a primary care village, you'll have a baby-friendly community initiative in that. You will have 8 people established in each communities and designated as baby-friendly community. 5 women and 8 men. Village support groups, VSDs, 3 men and 5. They will be there to promote nutrition messages. Recently, through the MCNHRP project, the SSNP project rather, we bought close to 8,000 radios. If we are intervening in your region, the rest assured each and every member of the community will be having radios. And very soon you'll hear NaNA FM on the radio promoting what leads to NCDs. We are all getting fat, we don't know what to do. Yeah? Our children are getting malnourished, we don't know what's the issue. But if they have these radios and NaNA, we have people sitting there, honorable sitting there telling us about the importance of radio. We will definitely reach the poorest, the extreme poor in this country. That is our goal. We want to have a Gambia free of malnutrition. You can only do this if you have the support of the National Assembly and government at large. The rest assured, our slogan, even if you have our calendar, you will see NaNA working with communities for better health and nutrition.
What causes these big stomachs? Because now they start accusing.
I think the issue of the transition, we wouldn't want to go into detail lecturing the triple burden, but we know triple burden of malnutrition. We talk about undernutrition, the wasting, the stunting, and the underweight, which he talked about. We are also faced with micronutrient deficiency, anemia, iodine deficiency, etc. And now the overnutrition, which the NCD is linked to, diet-related, obesity, hypertension. Hardly you get into a compound here, a household, wherein you don't find a single person, either the father, the husband, you call it, or whatever, has diabetes, hypertension, or any of the NCDs. Just a few days ago, I was in my class at the university. 85 students, believe me, 75 of them confirmed that either one of their parents is having diabetes or hypertension. Then I tell them we are finished as a country.
We are sitting on a time bomb.
Actually, we had this thing in the parliament, which actually I spoke a lot last year, that we are not paying attention to the deadly thing, and it's not about HIV or TB, but the NCD that we are not talking about. We need to be talking about that. So, and the same thing, any family go like, even up country now is serious one. Like my brother's son is about 14, and he's diabetic. And I couldn't understand, So
it used to be called a bourgeois disease, disease for the bourgeois. Now it's a household name in every household in this country. Yes.
Chair, on a final note, I was looking at the challenges of NaNA here, but I've not seen anything where you mention about money, cash, finance, funding. Me, I've not seen in here challenges here, inadequate capacity community. 2, one of the best practice land, the Zimbabwe study, whatever. 3, despite the availability of series of protocols, SOPs, whatever. 4, inadequate workforce at the national level, regional. 5, emergency COVID-19. 6, given the importance of vegetable guide. So they don't have any issues. Conclusion. Which I was reading challenges actually. Now I have a conclusion. 28. This one, 2020. No, I'm talking about 2020.
Okay, no, so 2020 precedes 2021. But what we are talking about is not even availability of funds. What we want to see is sustaining proven interventions, maintain the gains that are already made. Currently, if you look at the DHS, you look at any other survey that happens, the nutrition indicators were improving seriously. But now we are seeing some reversal. When I was joining NaNA, stunting was 24%, 25%. Now stunting is at 17%. But if you do the next DHI, you'll find it at 20%. That is because we are not sustaining. I did my master's in sustainability of IPF, investment project financing. Government needs to sustain gains that are made by projects, by investing. We have to build capacity, sustain that capacity as in terms of human resource. Transition from having only project staff into government core staff, and that what give you that complete civil service reform to have civil servants managing projects effectively and efficiently. In addition to that, you put in proper resources. Once you put in adequate resources, the human capacity is there, the financial resources is there, the gains will always be sustained. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I take you to page 12 of the 2020? Page 12, activity report. 2.6.3, the NaNA FPAC cash transfer to the social safety net project, SSNP. I want to know whether that project is on after 2020. Do you have the similar project in place?
Yeah. So let's quickly say this was actually NAFA quick.
Yes,
so the project we are talking about, SSNP, Social Safety Net Project, have the bigger component which we call NAFA. NAFA is in local language. NAFA we all know, huh? Where we put the money, our grandparents put money, huh? Yeah, it's called NAFA. Yeah, so that's the name.
Whether the project is still on course.
Huh? Yeah, the project is still on course, but it's ending this October 31st.
In October.
Yes, so the government is working with the World Bank to have a follow-on project called Human Capital Development.
That means every year you do have this NAFA available to
We will not have the NAFA quick.
You not have the NAFA?
No, we will have NAFA, but it will be NAFA proper. NAFA quick was COVID-19. It was just to respond to the advent of COVID-19 to give a temporal cash transfers to the beneficiaries to mitigate the impact of COVID. That is why we call it NAFA quick.
Okay, I just want to confirm whether.
No, so that will stop. That will stop. But the NAFA proper will
I'll come
continue.
to that.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
The next point of concern, you said about in total 148,152 households benefited if you added the first and second phases beneficiaries. It will give you a total of probably 148,152.
No, it's inclusive.
Yes, if you add the two.
No, the first one is a subset of the second one. So it's the same households receiving.
The same household.
You're receiving the second
So we
one.
have the first one, 69,793.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. The 78,000
Yes.
is the second transfer.
The first
But
one
the first
is,
transfer,
sorry, just
okay.
the first one is 69,793 for round one.
For round one.
And the round two is 78,359.
359. That is round two. But there are few. When you take out the 69,000 from 79, the residue is those who receive one round at the same time.
At the same time.
Yes.
So there were some who received in both rounds.
In both rounds. So each round is 3,000.
Each round is straight.
Two rounds 6,000.
Now you did say the households came from 30 poorest districts in the country.
Yes. Yes. So let me allow my colleague to.
Sorry.
How do you determine these poorest districts? And do you have the list of these poorest districts?
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable. I think it's been handed over to the right guy as the Director of Planning. I think just to connect from what he said, the NAFA quick was actually from the main NAFA, just to get the link so that we will not be confused. 10 million was with, of course, government with the World Bank agreed that yes, some funds would definitely be taken from the NAFA to support households during the time of the COVID. That was how we arrived at NAFA quick 2 rounds. In terms of selecting the 30 police districts, it was not out of the blues. It was based on the IHS, that's the Integrated Household Survey of 2015-2016, which ranked the country into districts, poorest districts from 1 to 40 something. So let me just give you in terms of geography. All the Fonyis are my colleague, my honorable from Fonyi is not here. From Fonyi benefit right to the provinces. In the North Bank, it was Sabasayal, in the 30 districts and the entire CRR, entire districts in URR. That's how we arrived at the 30 poorest districts. So, but you would see later, maybe in the reading, we will now zoom into the NAFA paper. maybe in subsequent reports, where we concentrate in 20 poorest districts. Now we have removed 10 out of, because 30, now the ranking, we're focusing on the 20 poorest districts because of resources. But the data, as we rightly asked, was as a result of the report that we got from the integrated household survey conducted by GBOS for the country that ranked districts, from being poorest to kind of wealthy. Thank you.
Yes.
All of them.
And we have 11 districts in CRR,
Yes.
7 in URR. Not bank,
Only Sabasanja.
and that means 6.
Yes.
LRR,
All of them, 6.
that's also 6.
Yes.
West Coast,
No, West Coast from Fonyi. From Benefit, we have,
that is 5.
yes.
5.
Okay.
Yeah, can we calculate? Alaji, do you have your calculator? Yeah, no, just take it. I will give you the figures.
Okay.
URR 7,
7, yes.
CRR 11,
Yes. Okay.
NBR 6.
No, NBR 1. 1, only Sabasanja.
Okay,
NBR 1, only here.
Okay,
Yes.
1 now.
Yes.
And then West Coast 5.
Yes.
How much? LRR 6.
6.
Let me start. Let me start. URR 7. CRR 11. NBR 1. LRR 6. West Coast 5.
Kak.
30.
Thank you.
Now, the next question is,
Yes, sir.
what criteria did you use to select these beneficiaries?
Very good question. Thank you, Honorable, for still linking it to the NAFA peak. It was a NaNA blanket supplementation. Transfer rather. Sorry, I'm getting into nutrition now. Transfer in the sense that we understand with the public health restrictions, households or household heads were not going about their normal daily business or daily lives. So it was given to almost all the districts or all the households that are in the 30 poorest districts as far as the NAFA quick for the 2 rounds was concerned. So this is why maybe in your subsequent readings, when we get now to the NAFA proper, which was the reason why the Gambia Social Safety Net was really granted to the country, it was targeted based on the extremely poor status of those households. But in terms of the NAFA quick, it was given to all the households at the time, near universal. Yes, 2 rounds, 6,000, 3,000, round 1, round 2, making it 6. Thank you.
And during the cash transfer, the design was all households in these 30 districts will benefit from the 2 rounds, except if a household say, no, I don't suffer much, you don't need to give me the cash transfer. That was the condition. I think it was only Rohi John Manjang at the governor of LRR who said, no, I don't need the cash transfer, I give it to the poor. But other than that, almost all the households in the 30 districts actually received the 6,000.
Thank you. And just to conclude, maybe in the NAFA, because they are linked, NAFA Quick and the main NAFA, which we have used the GAMESAR, which is the Gambia Social Registry, and that's where we identified the extreme poor households. Remember, we don't have all the money to even intervene even in the 20 poorest districts, all the households. So we were targeting the most vulnerable in terms of those who were identified at the time as extremely poor based on approximate tests. Maybe Honorable would understand some statistical, model to determine who are the really extreme poor households so that we would do a targeted intervention rather than a NaNA blanket transfer as in the NAFA quick. Thank you.
This survey is interesting. If you tend to say in North Bank, only Sabas is considered to be among the poorest districts.
So let me just do this. Okay.
I think what we also look at is the extreme poverty ranking and extreme poverty gap ranking. You look at the poverty ranking. This is the cut-off line for poverty. how many people are poor are under this table? It's one thing that we look at. But how far are they from the cut-off line? It's what we look at. So based on these two variables, you classify the districts. And with those two variables, unfortunately, in the North Bank, it's only South Kenya that meet the criteria. In LRR, it's only the Kians that meet the criteria. In the West Coast region, it's only the Fonyi that meet the criteria. So that's how we use it. We don't just look out of
That is all.
No, for the FPAC, but the FNFA program is only the Kians that has the project.
This particular NAFA, you said 6. NAFA quick.
So,
All the districts in LRR.
so let's get this.
The other issue is that has to do with the nutrient surveillance. And in that, you indicated in page 13, precisely, if you come around, where you have the February-March data revealed that Lower River region had the highest rate of malnourished children, 7.4%, while in August-September revealed that North Bank East had the highest prevalence, 8.2%. In your analysis, what made these particular regions vulnerable to have the highest malnutrition in the different months of the year? Let me say specifically. For LRR, it happened to be February, March. That will say precisely in the dry season. And for North Bank, when we say North Bank, I will say, if you say North Bank East, that is the body bush. In the rainy season, they are considered to be the highest in terms of malnutrition. What could be the contributing factor to this?
Honorable, I think outside of this session, I think we would make you as a nutrition champion, because really you have zoomed into the data and tried to do some critical analysis, because just as you have seen, the nutrition surveillance is done by annual. We do it in the dry season, February, March, as you have seen. We also do in August, September, just to try to get, what will be the nutritional status of children under 5, 6 to 59 months. We call them children under 5, during the dry and the rainy season. Huh? So that being said, if you look at the data that we have been getting from even big surveys for the past 5-6 years, has continually shown that CRR North, that's where I come from, that's where my honorable even comes from, has consistently, not only for nutrition, but even health data. But over the years, there has been a lot of interventions. Data is the way to go for planning and even program implementation. So all the interventions that we have, not only NaNA, but even with the Ministry of Health and all the partners, they're targeting CRR North all the time, CRR North. That could be one of the contributing factors. But what we do for the surveillance is point prevalence. Point prevalence means we just do MUAC, and it is for the CHNs, we call them community health nurses, of course with our regional field officers who does this. They just measure its point prevalence. We do not do a rigorous kind of anthropometric to determine nutritional safety. This is just simple thing. Even honorable, you can even do that. Just try screening, whether it's red or it's green or whatever. But in terms of the contributing, because we have not done an in-depth study to really find out. But one of the key reasons, which is possible, is targeted interventions in CRR North and even in other areas to corroborate with why the trend, is kind of changing. But as I said, this is a light touch, the nutritional screening, as opposed to a survey. It just gives you an indication of acute state of malnutrition and not the chronic form, which we have to do rigorously in terms of analysis. But your things, I think the researchers can really expand more on this.
Yes, so with the acute state of malnutrition, the contributing factors could be 2 or 3 things. One could be the food security at the time of the survey. If you look at the food availability, affordability, accessibility at the time, it could be a contributing factor to why it is high in one area or the other. The other thing could be disease pattern. there could be an outbreak of malaria or diarrhea or some other disease, and this will immediately affect the status of the work of the children, or the caring practices. Perhaps those who are carrying the children are far busy on some other works, and they don't do the much of the home caring of the child. So that could also be a factor, together with the interventions that are happening in other areas. So these are all factors that could be, but we didn't do an in-depth analysis as to why it is high in LRR and not than the other. But we could have done that, but we didn't do that. But this could be the factor that could have actually contribute to this.
Yeah, let me just come in because I had an experience on that when I was working for Child Fund. We have these social workers who will be weighing children, and then we gather them like every Friday, especially the malnourished ones, and then provide them with food that is of different diets. And then this normally pay dividend because at the end, we will have a month or 2 months where we will record 0 malnourished children within the community. And then one of the supporting activities was also women engaged in this vegetable gardening, because there they'll be able to at least have a balanced diet in terms of food provision. And then this why it's always in summer that sometimes we experience this malnourished children when most of the foods are not yet ripe or harvested. People struggle to get food to eat. So that's the time also our intervention is mostly in. Because at the moment now, harvesting has started, watermelon and other things. So where food is now available to children. So it goes down. So
just to add on, I think currently we are doing this sentinel surveillance, nutrition sentinel surveillance, but as we rightly said, in terms of the more detail, perhaps the sentinel surveillance would definitely, and again, is being supported by WFP and UNICEF. As we speak now, in Banjul, a team is here actually trying to do the more rigorous investigation, anthropometric and other detailed, investigation to determine the nutritional status of children under 5 and women of reproductive age across the length and breadth of this country. Thank you, Honorable.
Diets that are peculiar to each of the regions, not that.
It can change. It can change.
It can change.
Yeah. But one thing we have to say as an agency is when you look at all our programs, in terms of intervention, we use data. We never do blanket targeting. The availability of data is what defines our intervention. Either we get the data from GBOS or our internally generated data that will direct our intervention. So if, for instance, we are not in your region, we are not in Kombo or we are not in Badibu, that is not because, that is not because it's convenient for us to go to other districts. No. We are using data usually for all our interventions.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I know, well, I don't know why it's coincident. It is the Kians and the Badibus that are malnourished highly. I don't know why. But it appears the Kians are affected during the raining, during the dry season, because something is lacking during the dry season. They like the Ulakono, and that's not available during the dry season. If you go to Badibu during the raining season, something that is peculiar to them, which is available during the dry season, is not also available during the rainy season. You see that? So that could be the thing. Marankaso is available during the dry season, but not available during the rainy season. So please. I don't know why it's so peculiar about these people. Yes, finally, the subject matter specialists give impressive review as far as the work of NaNA is concerned, and then that could be attest to your various reports both financially and then activity, and then that of the GPA compliance. We hope and pray, as you alluded, if support is given financially, and then the Gambia could be rated malnutrition free, that cannot go without financial support. And that can also be regulated if we also try to do the review of the act to make the council very functional. When the council is not functional, it is going to retard the work of the board and that of the management as well. And certainly that will form part of the recommendation that we are going to advance. With your GPA compliance, a lot of issues were raised, and then you did put that is in the footing to be regulated in your subsequent audits. And we look forward to see your compliance 100%, from 85% to 100%.
Just before we close, normally we give credit where it is due. And I remember last year, we get good credit to NACA because they were the closest to meeting the constitutional requirement to submit the audited accounts 3 months after the end of the financial year. So now we want to find out when are you going to bring the 2022 accounts, and then so that we put NACA aside and then we praise you.
No, the accounts for 2022 are done. The only challenge we have in terms of getting them audited, they requested that we submitted it, but during the year we have turnover of our accounting staff who were replaced in the later part of the year, but the accounts are now done, completed. So anytime the National Audit Office, the activity report is already completed. Anytime the National Audit Office is done, they do the accounts. Even if you call us November, December, we will come. Yeah, no, it's already done. We are sending it to them this week. Yeah, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, on that note, can I put the correction that the August Committee consider and adopt the reports of NaNA, financial and activity for 2020 and 2021, and compliance from 2017 to 2020 be considered and adopted by the Finance and Public Account Committee. Yes, I move. Those in favor, please say aye. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
You see, there are only 2 of us. So if you say yes, I say no, what happens? If you have to be clear. No, you can't.
The chair, I will cast, my deciding vote will be cast.
On the what law? On the what law? On the what law? It's not in standing order. So on the what law?
When there is a tie, the chair decides.
No. with the powers vested on you.
Yes.
Okay.
I use my veto
Okay.
to break the tie.
All right.
Now, those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. On that note, the reports, finance and activity report 2020 and 2021, as well as compliance 2017 to 2020, are hereby considered and adopted.
Thank you.
For onward submission of the report to the plenary,
Yeah.
and it is at the plenary where the final consideration and adoption will be done.
Yes.
The recommendations and resolution that will be embedded in the report, the various committees will be coming in to liaise with the relevant institutions for implementation. Financial matters will be handled by FPAC with the relevant institutions, and then other administrative and management issues with the other committees held as a stage, and then that of the gender committee also may have a stage. They'll be coming in to support in the implementation of the recommendations and resolutions that may emanate from the report. I'm not sure there'll be a tie in that one. That means not everybody wants to go. Okay. Can any honorable member move that we adjourn the sitting until tomorrow at 10 a.m., not for NaNA, for another institution? Those in favor, please say aye. And those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. The meeting stand adjourned till tomorrow, 10 a.m. Thank you so much.